months ago. So now that you're going through, why are you upset about it and not working anymore? Why are you upset about it and walking away from God? Come on. What did you hear 2 months ago? So what happens is he gets to this place, just came out the boat. Mind you, they just shipwrecked. So this man's mindset should be, oh, God, what next? You know how we get when everything started hitting us at one time. I thought I was okay because I was going to make through this. But now I'm shipwrecked. Now the house is due. Now the mortgage is due. Now the car repossessed. Now the kids acting up. Now I don't nobody like me. Now I don't have no friends. Where is everybody at? What are the people that said they had my back? Why is everybody talking about me? What happened to me? Lord, I don't feel you no more. You're not talking to me no more. What happened? That's what Paul is. So then he get on the island, and guess what? While he's on the island, everybody, now mind you, this man is doing all that he knows to do. How many of us threw away the towel, said, I quit, it's over, I'm done. When the stuff started happening, guess what he was doing? He's the one that's on the boat that just shipwrecked. Came into a place where God said, there's a strategic plan for you here. And while the people are gathering a fire, being kind to them, guess what he does? Now, it didn't say what everybody else was doing. Paul was still working. Paul was getting wood for the fire. But while he was working, guess what? Some bit him. How many of us get bit while we working? All the time. All the time. Laying hands on people and getting bit right after you finish. Prophesying to somebody and got bit right when you finish prophesying. Don't play with it, because sometimes you prophesying and they talking about you while you prophesying. But why are you worried about that? Make me understand. When this man got bit, he was working because he was kingdom minded. And when he started working and it bit him, he shook it off and kept walking. Now let me tell you something. Not only did he shake it off, but the people saw him shake it off. He didn't stay there. He didn't grumble. He didn't have a moment to step back. He kept on working, getting the wood, going before God. But guess what happened in the end? While he was working, he took the bite and he shook it off. And guess what? The people started talking. This man must be a god. But guess what? Guess what they said first? He died. It's over. He going down. Wrong mindset. I ain't going to do it. Oh, he ain't going to be nothing. He ain't nobody. He ain't no preacher. They ain't going to make it. So what? Guess what? While he was saying all that, guess what he did? Shook it off. He was still building the fire. Still building the fire, shaking it off. And guess what? As he built the fire and they saw him shake it off, they said, he must be a god. These the same people that said you was done. You ain't, she must be saved. For real saved. She must be anointed if she shook that off. Because I done seen this viper kill somebody. I done seen this viper let somebody, come on. But guess what happens? Guess what happened? Paul had already made up his mind. For God I live, for God I die. See, when he converted, he meant it. He changed his mind the day he converted. If I'm going to kill him with this extent, then I'm going to worship him and work for him with this extent. Guess what? When Paul got in that place, guess what? There was a plan for him. Because after they saw that one of the rulers in that land was sick, his son said, heal my father, come pray. They took him in the house and he laid hands on the father. When he laid hands on the father got healed. Guess what? There came a line of people. Because he was in a strategic place doing what God said do. But guess what? This is the part that we keep missing. He was still a prisoner. He was still a prisoner. He was still bound. He was still locked up. He wasn't loose yet. He's still on his way to court to be acquitted for something. And guess what? Before he even got to the court, they had already made provision because the word had gone before him who he was. How do we get stuck in a place when we trust the God that we say we trust? When we tell him, God, I'm going to serve you, and we make up our mind, the right mindset, he comes home with all these stories about what's going on, and I'm God, what are they thinking? What in the world? But guess what? Until they get it, like Pastor was saying, a man can't do it until you get it. I can come to you and say, you beautiful. God called you to do a work. God is taking you somewhere, but until you get it, bound or not, until you get it, it won't change. And then when you get ready to go through the struggle, you still remember what God said, that I'm going somewhere. I'm called to do something. Made up my mind that I'm going to serve God. Okay, God, I know this don't feel good. I don't know which way to go, and it's all coming. This man was in prison, and it was all hitting him. He on the boat thinking he going for an acquittal. The boat shipwrecked. Then he got to tell the people what to do. Then they got to eat their last meal, and all he doing is trusting God. Trusting God. The story that he told about the water, in that year span of time, so much stuff happened, and I kept saying, but God, you said something else. What in the world? And I'm going to be honest, there were times that I was like, oh, Lord, I don't know. Am I trusting you? It had got so bad that I would never forget. We had went somewhere with some people, and we were just hanging out. And so much stuff had happened that I hadn't smiled in so long. We were sitting out enjoying the people, and I started to laugh, and I started smiling. And when I started smiling, it felt so weird because I hadn't done it in so long that I stopped. And I said, whoo, that was a smile. Woo, come on. We sit in the church. And we bound up, and we tired, and we frustrated, and we walking around acting like we deep with us, but we really hurting, we really upset, we really mad. Let's tell God, I'm mad. I done had enough. This don't make no sense. Why do I have to go through this? What did you tell me? You told me this. Remind him what he told you, but as you remind him, keep working. Let me tell you something. When the Lord says strategic place, he didn't tell him that he was going to get bit. Now, let me tell you something. A viper comes to, when his bite comes, the bite sucks the life out of you. It said that this is the kind of snake that when the first bite, if you're not moving, if you're still, they'll sometimes miss you because they only attack people that are moving. They don't even want human contact. They don't even like human contact. But you got to be moving to get their attention for them to bite you. So let me ask the question. If you sitting in the church and you're not doing anything, if you're going on your job and you're not doing anything, if you're going in your community and you're not doing anything, then let me ask you a question. Are you being bothered? Because nobody is noticing you. Because you blending with the crowd. But if you sitting in your church and you working, you on the job working, you in the community working, why don't you think the viper gonna bite you? They coming after you. But guess what? Your mindset got to be right. I'm shaking it off. I did not come to stay. I did not come to let you say what you want to say. I'm shaking it off. It doesn't even matter. Because I'm so far beyond what you see. My purpose is bigger than this bite. Now, I know that a couple of people have been bit with some things. We've been bit with bitterness. We've been bit with hurt. We've been bit with frustration. We've been bit with homelessness. We've been bit with brokenheartedness. But guess what? I'm shaking that off. I'm shaking that off. That can't stay there. My purpose is so much bigger than a divorce. My purpose is so much bigger than a hurt. My purpose is so much bigger than abandonment. My purpose is so much bigger than fear. So how in the world do you expect me to let this bite stop me from going where I'm supposed to go? Shake it off. I'm not going to say that it ain't coming. I'm not going to say that it ain't going to hurt. But guess what? Until you change your mindset. I didn't have a clue. That's what he's saying. But the mind is what's going to, if you give your mind to Christ, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are holy, think on these things. God, you are faithful. God, you are a healer. God, you are a restorer. God, when I look back over my life and all that you brought me through, I know that you will make a way. God, I know I didn't come in this place, this situation, this strategic place to stay because you called me out of this. Shake it off. Shake it off. We carrying too much stuff. We carrying too much stuff with purpose in us. Okay, you got bit. So what? I'm going to be just, it hurt. The things I have gone through, they hurt. But if I stayed there, I'd still be sitting there. Still be sitting there. No purpose, no destiny. I know what God told me about me. But I'm not going to be honest with you and tell you that I always knew. I had to get a mindset. When that water was off, I said, he must be crazy. Think I'm going to keep flushing this and ain't nothing happening, turning this water on. He crazy. But one day I turned it on because I started to believe. So out of habit, I just, oh, yeah. And when it came on, I was like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. God has been faithful. And he is faithful. We are a body of believers that know and have seen miracles. But until we get to a place that the miracle can happen for us, it won't. It's time out for laying hands on everybody else, thinking God going to do it for them. What about